Morning and happy Thursday. So I've been called to pull another card from Beyond Lemuria for the collective. Let's see what comes through. Spirit, what is the message for us today? What is it we need to know? Wonderful assistance and a message do you bring us? What is the message for us today? Full spectrum. Let's see what the message brings. Creating heaven on earth by honoring the perfection of nature's cycles, going beyond the judgment of good and bad, and merging of duality, raw nature, earth wisdom, connecting to ancestors, shadows as the fertile soil for exponential growth. The way forward is in the whisperings of the land, honoring the full spectrum of life. What does heaven on earth look like to you? Do you imagine lush green nature, ancient forests, pristine beaches, crystalline water systems, and all the planet's residents in full health, living in harmony with each other? And yet, nature in its purest, rawest form is a balance of life and death, growth and decomposition, the eaters and the eaten. In one way or another, this is the natural flux of life. We are already living in Eden, but our efforts to own and segregate bring us further away from the paradigm. Power trips, the need for imagined security, fear, or avoidance of the shadow. They keep us out of our freedom. The need to preserve and hold on tightly only stunts our growth and leaves us drawing in a sea of plastic. The real disease on earth, the barrier to Eden, is in our minds. Life happens, but it is our perception of good and bad and our black and white judgments that prevent us from seeing the grander truth. When duality becomes one, we will find Shambhala before us. Perhaps we can find inspiration from nature and the animal kingdom. Does the tiny frog spend its days anxious over its vulnerable future? What happens when we realize fertile compost greets us, when we allow ourselves to transmute our pain? When we honor all that come before, our roots are nourished, and we grow with more vitality, vibrance, and life force. We can anchor more light for the collective and in turn seed new growth. What happens when we realize the keys to our future are in the wisdom of the earth and dreamings of the indigenous? That answers are in the geometry of the macro and microcosm, the nurturing embrace of oneness in Mother Nature's arms. What happens when we find peace within the full spectrum of life? Even the notion of separation, this dis-ease, can be symbolized as no more than a blackened leaf on a healthy tree. The ebb and flow of our evolution and devolution is a temporary blip in the universe. This message is to be that we can to ground heaven on earth, but not out of fear. We often try to avoid or run from negative situations, but when fear steers our decisions and actions, far more devastation can result. When we choose to let our hearts lead us away from stories and outdated patterns. Our challenges become the fertile compost that feeds our ascending tendrils as they reach to the heavens and ground its light back on earth. Divinatory meaning. Step out of the black and white mentality of judgment. Go beyond the concepts of good and bad. This card invites you to honor the full spectrum of life and find a new way of perceiving your situation. When we judge something, we create a story around it. These stories often create limitations. Subconsciously, we gather so many of these stories over a lifetime. To heal our dis-ease and crystallize the new way, we need to create a space of no story where miraculous healing can happen. This space empowers us to be all we are and allows us to know our truth. Embrace the full spectrum of creation in all her colors and the raw, muddy, earthbound shadow parts of a situation to determine whether they are actually bad or if the stories you have held on to are limiting your perception. That indeed is a wonderful message, a lot to ponder. Thank you, Spirit, for that incredible message for us today. Until next time.